Um, Good morning. We're doing Tanya for Thursday. And we're continuing in the big juicy idea of the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah, the manifesting energy of God into the world. Let me put this up. All right, so let's see what we got in some details here. So the basic system we talked about is, thank you, Besa. The basic system, there's the parable and there's the analog. The analog is like the lesson. What's the analog? The analogy?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the analogy for the to explain, by way of analogy, to explain the Shekhinah, we talk about the soul interfacing with the body. The essence of the soul is so transcendent, it is found equally in the toenail and in the complex brain, because it's such a higher realm type of life. It doesn't differentiate with you're more alive, you're less alive. You're all alive, every part of the body, from the more complex to the less complex. That is called the essence of the soul. However, we know the soul isn't just, it's not, there's a parable given. It's not like this parable. The parable of you have water, the same clear water, and you put in different colored glasses, pink and blue. So through the glasses, it looks like pink water or blue water. So that's, some people understand the way God interfaces to the world in that way. God is unchanged. He's like the water. The different type of vessel, a rock versus a bird, they have bigger capacity or lesser capacity for higher life form. That's not the way we explain it. The way we explain it is that the soul ultimately has all the software, all the abilities that it powers up the limbs. So with their particular function, like the eye to see, the ear to hear. And we had a problem. How do you get from, transcendent to, the ability to hear? It's very differentiated, very specific. So we said to solve that, there's a couple of steps. One is that something that's transcendent doesn't mean it doesn't have in potentia, in potential, all the abilities, just doesn't have them formulated, just has all the potential. It's chai be'etzem, it's essential life. It has all the ingredients for all types of life and all the parts of the living being, but it's not differentiated yet. That's how it can come from there. However, there's a middle stage, and that's what I was trying to figure out a little bit. Maybe I got a little closer, but the way the essence of the soul then goes into the very differentiated functions of the body is through a middle stage, and that middle stage is the way the soul first permeates the brain. The soul first permeates the brain, and it has kind of like a general grab bag, if you want to give that a kolbo, an all-encompassing.
This is a kolbo.
Kolbo is in Hebrew. It means like I'm not sure, a grab bag or a jack of all trades. It means everything in it. Kolbo, everything in it. It goes into the brain with everything that's going to happen in the body exists in the brain. It gives in this kind of like, I wouldn't call it essential, because essential cannot translate into specifics, cannot be differentiated. But it goes into the brain in this kind of middle stage where it is, on one hand, it has the ability to draw from there specific functions of the body. Specific, it's almost like, here's my way of explaining it. I could be wrong. It's like you put all the computer code there from which the specific software can go to each limb of the body. So it's like is the software differentiated in the brain? No, but it's all there, ready to be pulled from. In other words, there's a first revelation of the soul in the brain, and it's a very, I think, concentrated and non-specific. It just is. It's the entirety of the human abilities at once, in a concentrated form. I was looking in another Tanya, and it said maybe you could say it's like, the essential part of the soul, the essence of the soul it's not able to, you can't draw from it. It's too transcendent. But this level, this kind of high level concentration of the revelation of the first revelation, and which is concentrated, it is besides it's just the middle, so middle, equals bridge, but you're able to convert from there, from this kind of umbrella concentrate, into specifics. He says an example, like, imagine you turn music up that's like extremely loud. It's so loud, it would break your eardrums, right? It's too much to hear. So does that mean that it's just too much? Does it mean it doesn't have the capacity or the ability? It doesn't have the possibility of lowering the volume and giving you a bit of the music? Mm-hmm. It does. Mm-hmm. It's just, by definition, it's too intense. But because it's intense doesn't mean it's not translatable. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Again, I'm trying to understand this. This is obviously a huge amount of theology and cosmology in one sitting. But the question I still have is, this is the system, but why is the system? Meaning, if ultimately you want to get to why do you want to go in a general, intense concentration first revelation, kind of like you're making the sun, and then from there the rays of the sun go out to the parts of the body. I have some ideas of why. I'm not 100% sure, but this is a fact. This is a very recurring pattern in reality and in nature, that things work in klal uprat, general, and then prat, detailed. When you have a eureka moment of an idea, there's just the way things come from one realm to the next, even probably in our own lives, right? You're struggling for a breakout idea, with breakthrough. And finally, you get the eureka moment, the light bulb. In the light bulb, you don't have the words to explain your idea yet, the answer. Not only because you didn't, put it into, Word document, it's inherently not word. It's not on a word level yet. It's not a verbal level yet. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's not on a verbal level yet. It's in a much more like ethereal type of plane, but it's at least now in the realm of being dissected, or the rays of it or the offshoots of it can be dissected into parts. Okay. So let's see on page 80. But as for the Shekhinah itself, namely the origin and core of the manifestation, whereby the blessed Ein Sof illumines the world in revealed form, which is the source of all streams of reality in the world. The Shekhinah is the source. And he points in the parentheses, their entire vitality, every creature of the world, is no more than the light, which is all creations of the world. Their entire vitality being no more than the light which is diffused from it, like the light radiated from the sun. I mean, you're not getting the source, you're getting a ray of the source. It's a very important, I don't know 100% why it's so important, but it's an important Kabbalah viewpoint. Concerning the Shem itself, the source of all vitality of the worlds, the worlds cannot endure or receive the light of the Shekhinah, that it might actually dwell and clothe itself in them without a garment to screen and conceal its light from them. So now this is the next point. So explain to you this how it happens. The problem is we make it sound so, it's a bridge, it's a sun, suns then make rays. You still have a problem. The problem is that the rays are too powerful also. It's still a first it's the revelation of the infinite. I mean, how does that get from has the revelation of the infinite? Okay, it's not, the essence, but it's still a revelation of the infinite. How do you then chop that up into parts? So for that, you need to have garments. We call them filters. Symptoms. Well, it doesn't actually say symptom here. It says it's not symptom. Symptom, it has elements of it, but I think it's a different point. It's a filter. It's a filter. It says garment, but filter is a better word for us. So that these rays, so that the creations shouldn't get nullified and lose their identity within their source, just as the light of the sun is nullified in its source, namely in the sun itself, where this light cannot be seen, but only the integral mass of the sun itself. Meaning, I'll give you the nice analogy of the brain or the sun. The sun has rays that go 93 million miles away to the earth and so on, or whatever, right? Yeah, but that's when there's like a space for the separate than the source of the sun. There's like all that 93 million miles. There's like black space, whatever you call it. So then it can not, the source isn't there, but the rays are there. Okay. The problem when you have the first revelation of the infinite light of God, it's infinite. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Where is there room for the rays to be independent, to be contrasted, with some backdrop? There's no backdrop. They're within. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like where if I think this, if there's infinite light, then where do you get to see the rays? It says like it's expression in the Gemara or the Kabbalah, Shraga b'tihara ma'hanale. A candle in the daytime, what does it help you? Right? You can't see the flame in the daylight because it's nothing in compared to the greater light.
But you could see the Shekhinah in the daytime.
How could you?
With the column of the fire at night and the column of the cloud by day.
I don't want to talk about Bible the examples. I'm saying conceptually, if God is
Torah
infinite,
is all I've got for example. That's our working knowledge.
Okay, granted, but how does it work? If the Shekhinah is if I'm translating the Shekhinah as the first revelation of the infinity of God, how is that contained into a pillar of fire? It is, fine, but how?
Something that there's nothing like it. It's unique.
But that's not an explanation. I'm saying, maybe we can.
How can you analyze something that's so fundamental?
Because we're supposed to. We have a mitzvah to know God.
We can try, but I don't think that you can. There's things that cannot be analyzed any further.
That's where Kabbalah and Hasidism disagrees. It says you got to, even if it's a slight hue of more understanding, it doesn't mean you get the whole thing. You have to advance in those hues of understanding.
Sometimes I think we are fooling ourselves.
You could say that, but first of all, we're on the shoulders.
I said it. Not only could I say it, I did say it.
But I'm saying I guess one of the answers to that is we're on the shoulders of giants, right? I mean, these minds, the Alter Rebbe, the Vilna Gaon, all these people, they knew the Torah, they knew the stories of the Torah. They also knew the entirety of the Talmud, the Kabbalah.
Don't say the stories of the Torah. It's the knowledge of the Torah, the wisdom of the Torah. The stories demeans the Torah. You got to be careful with your English too.
You're getting into different points. It is not like we can get into each one of these conversations has merit, but they're all different. But there are stories in the Torah. There are stories, right? There's actual people that did stuff. So it's a story. It's a very elevated story. It's a story though. It's a true story. The point I'm saying is that's not so important for this. The main point is that these great minds, they're telling us you do. I mean, it's not them. Moses said you should understand that, you should learn. I mean, this isn't just someone's like an idea in the 17th century. This has been done throughout all the generations. Why would they do that if they can't? You obviously you could to some degree, not obviously entirely because we are limited. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to understand. This is the whole point of this chapter. We are trying to dissect the Shekhinah to some degree. So the point is, if the infinite, all-encompassing light, that which creates revelation, creates reality, is all over, so how do we exist? How can we exist? We're like rays of the sun within the sun. How do we have any sense of existence when we're ultimately subsumed in an infinite source at any given moment? The answer is garments. God puts garments on reality that make it feel separate and sentient beings. What is this garment which is able to conceal and clothe the Shekhinah, yet will not itself be nullified within light? Meaning, you can't just say God, says, okay, here's a jacket, put it on. There has to be some energy that is even higher than the infinite light that can serve as a filter for it. Because, right, if it's only an extension of the infinite light, then it also gets subsumed in the light. So we need a filter that ultimately is rooted in some type of place of God or something where it's higher than infinity, the infinite light. And that's why when God makes this filter of that, whatever, material, quote unquote, it can exist and also block out the infinite source. So what is it? This is the blessed will, God's wills, wisdom, and so forth, which are enclosed in the Torah and mitzvot, which is revealed to us and our children. So God's will and wisdom as transferred, as encapsulated in the Torah mitzvot, they come from above infinity, which is hard to imagine. For the Torah comes from the Chachma, it says in Kabbalah, which is Chachmela, the supernal wisdom, which is the level of Chachma Atzil, the highest level of Chachma. Chachma, we know in the Sirot, is the first entry of God into pathways to reality. So if the Torah comes from Chachma, and Chachma doesn't just mean wisdom, it means openness to wisdom, openness to, the beyond. That is immeasurably higher than the world of manifestation in the Shekhinah. Because the Shekhinah, we know, is revelation. This is the point that is almost like an antenna to beyond revelation. That's what Chachma is. It's by the person, it's the intuition, it's the curiosity, it's the wonder. Very good. It's the wonder. The Shekhinah is already a revelation. It's already some sort of definition, infinite definition. But so we know, for God, He is wise, but not with the knowable wisdom, as the quote goes, meaning lots of huge sidebars here. Known wisdom refers to all that can be understood. God's wisdom is not that. It is unknown in the sense it cannot be known. I mean, it's not like if we had infinite life, we could know God. No, you still couldn't know God. It's a still level. It's still
It's a known unknown, right?
It's inherently unknown.
Right.
So that's the inner content of the Torah. It's really while the Torah is, does have parameters, it is laws and stories and tradition, all types of things, very digestible ultimately. But that's just the embrace. It's the withered vestige of supernal wisdom is Torah. I mean, it's like a shriveled fruit that's not connected to the tree. It's a low form or a relatable form of a much higher wisdom. It's like a dream compared to a prophecy. It has some similarity. It's got some shiny wisdom in there, but it's not comparable to the way God's wisdom is uncontained. And as we've previously explained, the infinite light of the blessed Ein Sof is clothed and united in the supernal wisdom, and Hein is wisdom number one. So how does it do this? How does the Torah? Well, okay, we got how it does. It's higher than the Shekhinah. Comes from Chachma, but how do we not blow up by touching Torah? Right? If we can't handle the Shekhinah, then how can we handle higher than the Shekhinah? Only this is because supernal wisdom and the Torah have descended by means of obscuring gradations, from higher grade to lower grade, with the descent of the world, until the Torah has clothed itself in the material things, namely 613 commandments of the Torah. A lot of sidebars to read. I don't know if I can get to it. Okay, bottom line takeaway today is we are understanding that the Shekhinah is too intense. The music is too loud for us to actually have some sort of existence. It's too much. Rather, because there's this filter within reality coming from the wisdom of God, the Chachma of God, and which is, it's like, even if you don't do Torah, Torah is the inherent blueprint. It's the inherent filter that allows reality. Now, there's a bit of a leap, right? That you're just saying the Torah, the 613 is this filter, even though there's a huge, gap between the way it is in the higher realms than here, but that's reality.
It's not really the filter, is it? I mean, it's what's left. It's what's been filtered. It's what's still being delivered. It's the deliverable.
It's a good point. There's 2 points. There's God communicating to us via the Torah, and then there's you just existing and noticing your hands, right? So we're trying to understand, how do you exist? How do you exist? How are you touching your hands now, right? So the answer is a filter. What is that filter? The filter is the Torah. It also ends up being the solution of meaning. A lot of notes there. I'm going to have to read it and really